I know they say statistics don't work, but I need to use a few statistics to tell you how good and bad things are and what you can do based on what every speaker here has said. This year, your country is expected to, our expected revenue for this year is 7.2 trillion from both the states and the federal government. The expected expenditure is 11.4 trillion. It's 11.4 trillion. That's a deficit of about 4.2 trillion. This is the type of debts that have already been incurred a year ago by the same government. They will tell you today that Nigerian debt to GDP is under 20%, is small. That's what you hear. This year, the federal government provided for debt servicing 38% of their budget, of the revenue, 38% to service the debt. Because the revenue they are getting is not enough, half of the year they use 51% to service the debt, and they are borrowing more. You will hear words like, we are going to spend our way out of recession. I'm sure you have heard it. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. Let me say it here. Just like we are talking about selling assets, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. But the question is, what are you borrowing for? In a recession, the only way to come out of recession is to do what? Spend for growth. And you can only spend for growth either from savings or from borrowing. And since we don't have savings, you've heard it, how our savings we have squandered, whether it's crude, excess crude, anything by the governors, everybody was right. The money is gone. But now, in order to spend, we need to borrow. And there's nothing wrong in borrowing, but the question is, what are you borrowing for? Are you borrowing for consumption? Are you borrowing for production? The fear is that we are borrowing for consumption, because we can't see what we used the past borrowing or what we sold before for, and that is the crisis we face. And that is the critical thing everybody has to watch. When you borrow for consumption, when you have no savings, you're heading for a disaster. So when you see people like me say, when they wanted to give money to governors and say bailout, I was a governor, I should be supporting it. But I disagreed. I said, no, before we give them the money, let them tell us what they are doing, because it is wrong for us to pay a bill of a drunk while he's sitting in the bar. He has to come out of the bar first, and he will settle what he has drunk before. Let me talk about where I served, the sub-national government. Out of this 11.4 trillion expenditure expected this year, the states are 5.4. And I believe that this 5.4, we can save at least 1 trillion. At least they won't borrow it because it's going to be borrowed. We can save 1 trillion. And people will say to me, how are you going to save it? How? One, I always say it. Out of this so-called 5.4 trillion, 12 to 15% is used in running the office of the governor, including the so-called controversial security vote, aids, everything takes almost between 12 and you're looking at about 600 to 800 billion. Thereby, I want you to listen to me. Thereby, if you decide to reduce it to 3 to 5%, it will be between 200 and 300 billion. You save at least 450 to 600 billion. That's a saving of 450 billion. If you decide to do proper procurement, competitive procurement that is competitive, you save as much as the same amount. So with these two, you've saved almost 900 billion. If you decide to do away with the unconstitutional office of First Lady, it's very unconstitutional and adds a lot of confusion to what is happening. It costs an average state today about 2 billion to run that office. And all the office does is create confusion. Most states have about an average of 6 bulletproof vehicles. Today is about 100 million naira for one. And if you times it, 100 million today, times 6, then times 36, it comes to about 21.6 billion. But if you reduce it to 2, it will be about 7.2 billion, and you save about 14 point something billion. The average government house have about 25 jeeps. Today's price is about 35 to 40 million. So you're looking at an average of, if you use 35, is 875 million naira each, multiplied by 36. Again, if you reduce it from 25 to 8, you save about 15 billion. Traveling. 1 minute. Traveling. Every government house or governor can tell you the number of traveling budget, logistics, they call it also of name, is almost 500 to 600 million. I believe you can do with, if you times again 600 times 36, I believe you can do all your travels for a third of that. You save 115. So if you look at what I've showed you now, you're going to save over 1 trillion. And I can tell you it is practical. People who said to me, Peter, how is this possible? How is it not possible? My dear, I was a governor. When I came to office, my first 4 trips to Abuja, I traveled with over 30 people. Over 30. Everybody have a title to be in the plane. Everybody have a title to do this. So, wait a minute. I'm the only person invited to Abuja. I pay for 30 people who have no reason to be in Abuja. They constitute a problem to the traveling public. They follow me to Abuja. I'm the one who is going to go to a meeting. Because they idle in a hotel, they eat more. So I have a lot of bills to pay. In the end, every trip was costing me over 10 million. One trip. And at times I do this 4 or 5 times in a month. So after about the third or fourth trip, I sat down and said, I want you to write name of everybody from me and tell me why and what is the purpose of this person going to be in Abuja. What do they do? When they finish, I found out the only person that needs to go to Abuja is me. So I said to them, leave it, because some of you must have heard Peter Obi travels alone. No, because the other people, I don't need them in Abuja. I give you an example. If I were taking police from Oka to Abuja, there might be about 12, 20, 15 security men. And then each time I go, let me use today's pricing. One ticket one way is about 30,000. Coming back is 30,000. I found out that I can talk to the IG then Onovo. I said, Onovo, when I'm in Abuja, give me 3 policemen. The other person, give me 2. When I'm going, I give them 5,000, which is not up to the ticket of one person going. I say, give 2 people. Nobody followed me to Abuja. So when I call, the people say, hey, Peter Obi is traveling on his own, he's carrying his bag. I'm a young man, I can carry my bag. When I started being a governor, no permanent secretary in Anambra State had a car. The judges didn't have a car. And meanwhile, there's in the budget provided there's a 150 million naira for the government to buy 2 bulletproof cars for the governor. I said, okay, fine, it's good. I took it, called one Mr. Eric, who was then the GM of PAN, with Onyemuche Namani, and said, listen, I want you people to do me a favor. I want to buy, they used to sell Peugeot 406, 3.7 million. I said, I want to buy about 100. So you sell it to me 3 million. The Frenchman agreed with me. So I took the 150, gave him as deposit. He gave me the first 50 vehicles. I had 18 judges, so 18. I had permanent secretaries, 19, so 19. The governor will keep 10. So all my first tenure, if you are around Doka, I used 406 Peugeot. And nobody kidnapped me, nobody shot me, and we saved that money. In 2004, the Anambra Governor's House was burnt, the Governor's Lodge, as well as the Government House. Coincidentally, in 2006 when I started, the budget to repair the Government House was 298 million. To repair the Governor's Lodge was 481 million. These are the two reasons why I was impeached. The third was saving money without permission. And I said to them, wait a minute, I repaired everything in the Government House, this is Governor's Office. I repaired everything with 43,200,000. The only thing I didn't buy new was furniture. Because there's a table used by one of my predecessors that was kept somewhere, and they say it's old. But I called the man, the furniture man, I said, if you wipe this seat, would it be neat? I just want to say you're right. Let's to buy new one. Why are we buying new one? Every state you go today, they have what they call presidential lodge. And they said, we have started building one for almost $500 million. I stopped it. Obasanjo wanted to come to Anambra State. And they said, I went to them and said, listen, tell Mr. President, he can come in the morning and go in the evening. We don't need him to sleep. We don't need him to sleep. They said, no. They said, no, he must sleep. He must sleep. I said, okay, let's not worry about it. I went to him, that day I'm telling you what, I went to him, he came in October, end of October 2006. I went to him, I said to the chief of staff, I said, tell him please, he can come in the morning. He said, no, he must sleep, he's doing this. I said, okay, no problem. I called the people, say, since he cannot stay in a hotel, and he must sleep, come and see where I live. This is where I live. If this place is okay for him, I will give you the key for 1 month. Then I will go. When he goes, they were very nice to me. I can tell they were very nice. They said to me, we need it for only 1 week. So I came back and told my dear wife, she's the only one who has property there. I said, bring out your thing. The president is going to sleep in this room. We are going to give them the key. I went across to a hotel called Pactonia. The man charges 30,000 per suite. For that 1 week, you know how much he charged me? 100,000. That is what I would have spent 500,000. So Obasanjo came on Thursday, stayed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he left. They gave me back my key. And I saved 500 million, which I would have used to do the lodge. I would have been maintaining it by now. So Anambra State does not have a presidential lodge because the president doesn't live in Anambra State. He lives in Abuja.